Hello everyone. Welcome to Daily English Practice. English learning practice through stories. Long ago, in a faraway kingdom, a king and queen ruled with kindness and wisdom. They had everything they wished for, except for a child. Years passed, and the royal couple prayed and hoped for a baby. Then, one bright spring morning, their prayers were answered. The queen gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. The king was overjoyed and announced a grand celebration. "We shall name her Aurora," he declared. "And the whole kingdom shall rejoice in her birth." Everyone in the land was invited to the feast, from nobles to common folk. The king also invited 7 fairies who were known for their magical gifts. However, he forgot to invite one fairy, an old and powerful enchantress who had been living in a dark, forgotten tower. At the grand banquet, the 7 fairies approached the baby princess, each giving her a special blessing. The first fairy gave her beauty, so that she would grow into the fairest maiden in the land. The second fairy blessed her with kindness, so that she would be loved by all. The third gave her grace, making her movements elegant. The fourth granted her a beautiful singing voice. The fifth gave her intelligence and wisdom. The sixth fairy blessed her with a pure heart, full of love and compassion. Just as the 7th fairy was about to give her gift, a loud gust of wind blew open the palace doors. The forgotten fairy, Maleficent, appeared in a cloud of dark mist. Her eyes glowed with anger as she stepped forward. "So, I was not invited," she sneered. "No matter. I have a gift for the princess as well." The room fell silent with fear as Maleficent raised her staff. "When the princess turns 16, she shall prick her finger on a spinning wheel and die." A gasp of horror spread through the hall. The queen clutched her baby, and the king stepped forward, pleading, "Please, take back your curse." Maleficent only laughed. "It is done." She vanished in a swirl of black smoke. The 7th fairy, who had not yet given her gift, stepped forward. "I cannot undo the curse," she said gently. "But I can change it." She waved her wand over the baby. "Aurora shall not die," she declared, "but instead, she will fall into a deep sleep. She will awaken only when she receives true love's kiss." The king and queen were relieved but still fearful. To protect their daughter, they ordered every spinning wheel in the kingdom to be burned. They believed this would keep Aurora safe. Despite their efforts, the king and queen remained worried. So, the fairies came up with a plan. They would take Aurora into the forest and raise her as a peasant girl. That way, Maleficent would never find her. The 3 kind fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, took the baby and fled to a small cottage deep in the woods. They changed their appearances to look like simple villagers and gave the princess a new name, Briar Rose. Years passed, and Aurora grew into a beautiful young woman. She knew nothing of her royal heritage and believed the 3 fairies were her aunts. She loved the forest, singing to the birds, and dancing among the flowers. On the day of her 16th birthday, the fairies planned a surprise celebration. They wanted to make her a special dress and a cake. To keep her busy, they sent her to pick berries in the woods. As Aurora wandered through the trees, she sang a sweet melody. Her voice was so enchanting that it reached the ears of a young prince, Prince Philip. Philip was out riding his horse when he heard the song. Following the voice, he found Aurora twirling among the flowers. She was the most beautiful girl he had ever seen. Aurora saw him and blushed. "Who are you?" she asked shyly. "I am just a traveler," he replied. "May I dance with you?" They danced together, their hearts beating fast. Though they had just met, it felt as if they had known each other forever. They promised to meet again soon. As she returned home, Aurora told the fairies about the young man she had met. "I think I am in love," she sighed dreamily. But the fairies gasped. "You cannot marry a stranger," Flora cried. Then, unable to keep the secret any longer, Merryweather told her the truth. "You are Princess Aurora, betrothed to Prince Philip since birth. Tonight, we must take you back to the castle." Aurora was heartbroken. She did not want to marry someone she did not know. And worst of all, she would never see her mysterious stranger again. That evening, the fairies returned Aurora to the palace. The king and queen embraced her, overjoyed to see their daughter again. But Maleficent had been watching. She knew Aurora had returned. Using her dark magic, she lured Aurora into a hidden tower where an old spinning wheel stood. Aurora, as if in a trance, reached out and touched the spindle. A single drop of blood fell from her finger. She collapsed onto the floor. The curse had come true. When the fairies found her, they laid her on a golden bed. "She will sleep until true love's kiss wakes her," Flora whispered. To protect the kingdom from heartbreak, the fairies cast another spell, putting everyone in the castle to sleep. The entire kingdom would wait with their princess. The fairies realized there was only one person who could save Aurora, Prince Philip. They found him, but Maleficent had already captured him, locking him in a dark dungeon. Using their magic, the fairies freed Philip and gave him a sword of truth and a shield of virtue. "You must fight for your love," they told him. Maleficent, furious, transformed into a massive dragon, blocking his path. The prince fought bravely, dodging the dragon's fiery breath. With one final strike, he threw his sword straight into the dragon's heart. Maleficent let out a terrible scream before vanishing into black smoke. Prince Philip rushed to the castle. He climbed the tower and found Aurora asleep on her golden bed. He knelt beside her. "I will love you forever," he whispered. Then, he gently kissed her lips. At that moment, Aurora's eyes fluttered open. She gasped and sat up. "It's you," she cried, recognizing her mysterious stranger. Down in the castle, the spell was broken. The king, queen, and everyone in the kingdom woke up, celebrating with joy. Aurora and Prince Philip held hands and walked down to greet them. The kingdom rejoiced, and soon after, a grand wedding was held. Aurora and Philip ruled with kindness and love, and they lived happily ever after. Subscribe to the channel for more interesting stories.